Hey everybody, Zeal Brothers here once again with another video. This one in response to the guy who ran over the crowd in the SUV in Waukesha yesterday. And let's just talk a little bit about this Daryl guy. He was a career criminal. And when you look at his history and the fact that he kept getting left out of jail time and time again, it supports my argument that eliminating bails and reducing crime sentences, in other words, the social justice reform movement and reforming our criminal code, kills people. And I will say this again, when you lower penalties towards crime, you encourage more crime and you encourage more murder. Now let's just expound on this argument. What happened in this case? Here you have a man who was involved in some criminal activity that night. He was running away from the scene of that crime that night, and he couldn't get away. He was trying to use the parade route to escape. And what happened? People got in his way. He decided to just barrel through them, and he just decided to kill people, run through people. And this man was out. Why? He was out because on that Friday, he had been let out for bail. And previously, he had committed crime after crime after crime. And if you look at his history, there are so many jurisdictions who have blood on their hands. Because when you look at the city of Waukesha, when you look at the city of Milwaukee, you have lots of people who had the opportunity to put this man in jail, and they did not put this man in jail. It's amazing to me that on one hand, you got a lot of people who want Kyle Rittenhouse to be thrown under the jail. But on this case, you got this Daryl Brooks, I believe, who did all these crimes that a lot of people think he should have been left off. A lot of people think he should be free. And it's just amazing to me the consequences of that mindset that flips whenever you want it to. But the amazing consequences that we face because a lot of people are soft on crime. And let's just make it a math problem, shall we? Let's just make it a math problem. Imagine that 80% of the crime is done by the same individuals all the time. What would be the best way to lower the crime rates? I can tell you a simple thing, keeping them off the streets. How would you keep them off the streets? If every time they committed a crime, they stayed in prison for a certain amount of time, that will reduce the ability that they could have to commit more crimes. But in reality, in our society, and especially in the state of Wisconsin, what is going on is this. People will commit a crime and they'll be let out on bail. And when they're let out on bail, they feel that they have the ability to commit more crimes. A lot of times, this is especially dangerous when it comes to criminals like drug dealers and pimps. Why? Because a drug dealer will find out who ratted them out and they'll often go and kill that person. What happens with the pimp? The pimp will often go back to the girls and beat them up and force his will. And a lot of times people will go to jail for a crime, get out on bail, and go out and start intimidating all the people who could rat them out. That's what they do. And so we allow these people to get out on low bails. Bails that are often less than $1,000 for significant crimes when they are already awaiting trial for something else that they have done. We make a mockery of justice. Now, it is my contention that every time somebody does a crime and they have not yet been sentenced for the other crimes that they have committed, that their bail should have to go up by a factor of 10. In other words, if you have a $1,000 bail your first time, the minimum your next bail should be $10,000, no matter what you did, even if it was child support. And the next time you have something, it should go up to $100,000, no matter what you did, because we need to somehow keep these people from committing more and more crimes. And let's just put it another way. Imagine that I was an alcoholic and I was going to go to jail, likely to go to trial where the case was so stacked against me. I know I'm going to prison for drunk driving. And I know when I go to prison, I'm not going to be able to drink anymore. And I have trial in 4 months. What am I going to do in those 4 months? I'm going to drink my butt off. And if I have another drunk driving in the meantime, who cares? I'm already going to prison for that. That's what a lot of criminals think. And a lot of people don't, they act like you don't have common sense. A lot of you people act like you don't have common sense where you don't support these common sense things that I'm talking about. A lot of times somebody will play on your little heartstrings and you will think that on one hand, you could have a heart for these victims in Waukesha, but on the other hand, support letting people off time and time again. And let me tell you, if you support letting people off time and time again, you are holding hands with the guy who drove the SUV through the crowd of kids. That's you. That's on you. I'm not saying you're as bad as a murderer, but you have culpability. And you need to understand your responsibility. And listen, as a pastor, I encourage you to repent from your ignorance. Because here's the thing. Sin produces stupidity. That is just a natural fact of sin. Evil produces stupidity. Arrogance produces stupidity. And oftentimes we can buy into this. All of us have been stupid from time to time, where we have made decisions that we regret. And what you need to do is you need to turn away from it. When you have made decisions where you have supported lackadaisical prosecutors, when you have supported DAs who have said from the outset, I'm going to lower sentencing, I'm going to press less charges, you support more criminals. And you need to recognize that. And you need to turn from that. Change your mind, because you've been wrong and you are hurting your society.